All right. We are recording. Here we are. The virtual open week, day 3. So thank you so much for showing up live. It's freezing here. I can't get enough green jumpers on today. So chilly. But hopefully it'll gonna get nice and sunny and warm up. So I would love to hear from you in the chat. Tell me where you're zooming in from today. And thank you so much for showing up. I'm so humbled and grateful that you want to find out more about this. And if this is day 3, and if you've watched day 1 and day 2 and day 3, then go you. Absolutely incredible. So let's just run through what we're going to go through today. So today is all about the scary stuff, right? Doing our due diligence. So just checking in with things like council regulations and finding customers and trying recipes. So really getting into, yesterday was all this is how this came to be, this is how it all works, how exciting. And now we're really going to look at kind of the scary bits. Because when we really face the bits that we are most concerned about, then we're in just a much better position to mitigate the risk, right? So, welcome back. I'm so grateful you're here. How are you finding it so far? I'd love to hear from you in the chat how you found day 1, how you found day 2, and what out of the 3 things, council, customers, trying a recipe, what part of those is most daunting or most exciting for you? Let me know. I'm going to open the chat. Can you see my fingers are completely numb? It's chilly. Oh, Lisa Marie's in Tassie. How cold is it there? It's 15 degrees here, which isn't freezing, but it is. Adelaide, yeah, we're like, we're all down south in the chilly parts, which is really cool. All right. Okay. I think it's just changed by itself. All right. So we're going straight into council. So, you know what? Council is the main thing that people put comments on. So I have a really awesome marketing company that run my Facebook ads for me, and they write the copy and everything like that. And the biggest thing on there, if you've seen those adverts, is people talking about council. And so many people love to jump on there and say, you can't do this. You can't do this from a domestic kitchen. So I just really want to put the record straight on that. And council's not such a scary thing, right? When we think about council and what they're there for, so people that work at the council are public servants. So they're there being of service to us, and they're essentially there in the health department to keep us safe. So if you were buying some food from somewhere, you want to make sure, right, that it's coming from a kitchen that is of a certain standard to make sure you're not going to get sick. Right. That's good, because we wouldn't want to be getting, something that's coming from a dirty kitchen, right? Ugh, gross. Don't want that. But what they're looking for, remembering as well that this is a home-based business that's designed for a domestic kitchen. What they're looking for is to have sealed benches and floors. So that just means no cracks in the floors, no slate bench tops. And really that's just because that's where a lot of grime and germs can live. They'll want you to be able to store your ingredients separately. So when I first started out, I had a teeny tiny pantry, like literally this big. And that was full of our stuff, right? I didn't have capacity to have a separate shelf in that pantry for primal alternative products. So I just bought some of those, those stackable plastic boxes from Bunnings. I just bought some of those, and then I just put my bagged bulk dry goods in there, sealed it up, wheeled it into a corner of a bedroom, and then wheeled it out when it was baked days. So, I mean, that's a bit rustic, but it's doable. So don't think, oh, I'm going to have these big bins full of flour. It's a one woman gig. And who's got pets? Let me know. And let me know, what pets have you got? So I get questions all the time. Oh, I'd love to do this, but I've got a goldfish or a budgie or 75 dogs or a trillion cats or birds that fly around the house. And hey, look, everyone's got pets. Everyone's got pets. If you haven't got a pet, that's unusual. Most people have got a pet. And so that's okay. I've got 3 cats. And the key thing that you need to be able to do is you still can have pets, but you need to keep them out of your production zone, which is the new name for your kitchen, while you're baking. And also, something to keep in mind is that when council come to inspect, let's just treat that as if you are, as if you are baking. So if council come and there's a big dog lying on the couch, they'll think, this big dog lying on the couch when I'm not here are very high too, so you might not pass. Okay, so you can keep pets out of the production zone with some really high tech, I'm being tongue-in-cheek, with some really low tech things like a door, which is really easy to do, right? So pets stay out of the kitchen, and they don't want to have any evidence of pests, so rats, cockroaches, ants, that kind of thing. We need to make sure that's all kept under control. Rightly so, right? All right. So things you do not need to have to get approved by your local governing authority is a commercial kitchen. You don't need stainless steel bench tops. You don't need to find new homes for your pets. You don't need to turn your house into a factory, and you don't need a kitchen reno. Like, put your hand up or let me know in the chat. Come on, let's be honest. Who's thought, well, I would like to do this, but I don't think my kitchen's good enough. So I'm just going to, what we'll do, we've always wanted to do a kitchen reno. So we'll do a kitchen reno and then I'll start this business. And then, by that time you've like 4x'd the cost of getting into this business, right? So don't do that. Have I told you the story before about when Mike and I wanted to go camping? Well, we decided we wanted to go camping. So we started writing a list of things that we needed, like plates, knives and forks, tent, sleeping bags, things like that. And then we were like, oh, but and a 4-wheel drive. So this list went from being fairly doable and reasonable to just ridiculous. And do you know why we did that? It was subconscious sabotage because we didn't want to go camping. We've never been camping. We've been together for 20 years. We just don't want to go camping. We're not camping people. So it might be time to get really honest with yourself. And if you're finding that you're putting that when then, I call it the when then monster, when I've got a nice kitchen, then I'll start my own business, or when I get this done, then, when the kids move out, then when I've got more money, then, the when then monster, it pops up everywhere. And if you do see the when then monster, go, aha, I have seen you, when then monster, and I see you, and you are not going to sabotage my dreams of what I want to do anymore. Okay, that's enough on that one, I reckon, right? Are you laughing? I hope you're laughing. Okay. So Claudia says, yesterday's session was excellent. Thank you. And informative. Biggest issue for me is marketing and finding customers. Brilliant. Not particularly tech savvy. Brilliant. But I know the support will be available to me. Yes, it will. I'm going to show you a bit more about marketing, getting customers, and the amount of tech that you need to be a Primalista. And spoiler alert, it's like this much tech, which is good, right? So some things to seriously consider for council. So who here is renting? Are you renting it's very common. Most Primalistas are renting. So if you're renting, you may want to run this idea past your landlord. Sometimes council don't need your landlord's approval, but the 2 key things that you want to be saying to your landlord is that you're not going to be adding any extra wear or tear on their property, and it's not going to be a traffic issue. So getting approved with council is usually a 3-stage process. The first process is a design application that you have to put in with the planning department, which sounds horrendous, but it's quite straightforward. And I'll show you how. And really what they're looking for there is to make sure you're not going to be a noise or a traffic issue. Fair enough, right? You imagine if your neighbor suddenly opened a cafe from next door, you'd be like, what? Who allowed this? So they're just making sure that you're not doing that, right? The next step will be then to put an application in with the health department so they can make sure that what you're doing is low risk, not potentially hazardous, and safe to do from home. They'll come and then do an inspection and just check out your kitchen, check out your labels, your packaging, all that kind of thing, which we've also taken care of. And they are all food standards, Australia, New Zealand compliant, and all meet the Food Act, which is brilliant. So council is a necessary process. And the key to getting your kitchen approved is the right application, attitude, and approach. It's very common to get an initial no, but 78% of Primalistas said that getting approval was a fairly straightforward process, and we're here to help you. So the Primalistas in the group, you know, they've all been approved, right? So if you get any funny questions or you're not sure how to answer things, you can ask in there. And then if you want some one-on-one support, I'm here as well. I've looked at many council applications now, and quite often, usually I can see straight away in an email, oh, they don't understand that you're producing low risk products. So we just need to go back in with a little bit more information to clarify what it is that they're looking for. Okay, we've got some renters in the house today. Cool, that's common. So let's just talk a little bit more about labels. So this is actually not a label we're going to be using because food standards make changes all the time. The reason I'm sharing this behind the scenes information with you is because I really want you to appreciate how valuable having the right label on products is. And the consequences, if you were to just do it yourself and get it wrong, are really quite high. I mean, to be fair, council are pretty good and they'll let you know first. But the fines for having a non-compliant label are in the region of around 60 grand, right? So you don't want to be caught with a non-compliant label. But things are changing all the time, mostly because more and more people have got dietary restrictions and more allergies, which means there's more of a market for products like ours. But it also means that the clarity on labels is becoming more and more important. So food standards have had a big shift to clarity on labels. So low carb loaf used to be called fat and seedy bread, right? Which was fun in 2018. When the world was a fun place and everyone just had a laugh at the name. Oh, that's so funny, fat and seedy bread. But the reality is, what is that? It's not very clear as to what it is. And it's not bread, right? Because there's no flour in it. There's no yeast in it. You know, flour, wheat flour. It's not typically bread. So we've rejigged. Trust me when I say I've been working on this to the tune of 9 months in terms of the development cost, the graphic design cost, thousands, 20,000 maybe so far on these labels. And why am I sharing that with you? Because I want you to understand that working together collaboratively as a network, we can achieve so much. Like even just these logo, this barcode here, like it'd be very hard these days to get into a retailer or a stockist without a barcode. The fee just to have barcodes alone a year is $800, which is fine, right? If you're a big, food company, but if you're just a small producer, it kind of like the costs just prices out of the market, which is why as a collective, we can achieve so much, right? It's good, right? So we've got all of these labels up to date. The allergen labels, this is another section that's been really, you got to make sure it's so clear that if someone's got an egg allergy, they can see, even though it says eggs in there, you have to say it again here. You can't have that over there, which it needs to be there. And then we've got all these lovely little infographics done. And then they came up with a new regulation that says, if you're going to say you're something free, an allergen free, then you have to have a higher class kitchen. You have to essentially prove that your kitchen is dairy-free and grain-free. And we can't say gluten-free. That's why we don't say gluten-free on our labels, because that is a highly regulated industry, highly regulated phrase and industry. It's a whole industry in itself, because of celiac disease, because it can be deadly for some people. So that's why if you want to say gluten-free on your labels, you have to have a certified gluten-free kitchen and have all of your products tested regularly to make sure there's no gluten in them, which in a domestic kitchen, yes, you know, and it's very simple to reduce cross-contamination by cleaning your kitchen. But, you know, your 15-year-old might have just eaten 8 Weet-Bix for breakfast, right? So there might be some cross-contamination. Yeah, so these labels, they really are an asset, one of the most valuable assets in the license, absolutely. So let's go through some of the resources that are available for Primalistas. So that I'm going to give you a look behind the scenes at what you actually get. You know, we talk about it in the info sessions. We talk about it on the calls, but you're going to get a food safety program, an environmental health officer letter template, and a checklist, which is essentially, you know, when something goes wrong with your dishwasher, and like, what does this mean? And what does that light mean? It's like, it's more of a troubleshooting thing. So if they say this, say that, you know, it's really good. So the food safety program it's like a living document. It's its own entity. It's its own being, and it's been it gets improved and tweaked and added to every time we get some feedback from an, because you remember it's been looked at so many times by so many health officers, and it's been put together by lab technicians and food technicians and environmental health officers who've looked at it and said, actually, this is what we're looking for. Why don't you just make it more like this? So amazing. A complete overkill for, you know, a little cottage industry domestic kitchen gig. But the reason I've put it together is because you're just going to slide that across in a link in an email to your environmental health officer, and they'll literally be able to go through it and go, oh yeah, tick, 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 tick. Brilliant. That's all the things I'm looking for. You've made my life so easy. And we get a lot of brilliant feedback on how amazing this document is. So your homework from today's session, don't go off and do it now, because I'm going to do a little bit with you on the call, is to go and check your council website, because I want to guide you through what you need to be looking for. Because remember, food business registrations cover everything from you as a really small domestic operator right through to a McDonald's, an Indian restaurant, wineries, place, you know, the cafe down at the swimming pool, school canteens, they cover everything. So the forms can be a little bit, what does this mean? So you have to kind of be a bit of a detective when you go through that. So let's have a look at the food safety program and multiple. Okay, so I'm not going to be that tricky. Okay, so just bear with me while I swap shares. Share screen. So your lovely faces then, that was nice. Okay. All right. So hopefully you can see, I'll get my head out of the way, our, oh, I'm starving, that looks nice, food safety program. So just to give you an idea of what's in it, I want you to look at this and go, oh my goodness, I'm so overwhelmed, this looks too hard, because this makes it feel like that. But the beauty is it's all been done, right? So I'm not going to go through it because it's a big document. How many pages? 100 and I think it, and then we've got all the lab tests. So we've had all the products lab tested to prove that they're not potentially hazardous and low risk. So it goes through blah, 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 blah. And then so you would put your details in here. So it's all ready for you just to fill out. And blah, blah, blah. I wanted to get to the bit about the kitchen. Oh, that's interesting. So this is the kind of thing that council will look for. They'll be like, you know, where are you going to store your ingredients? Are you going to put that in the fridge? You know, this is EHO. They get like hot under their collar at flow charts like that. So exciting for them. So it's just showing what could go wrong. Like we appreciate eggs and butter have to be stored at certain temperatures. So what could go wrong? How will we look after it? And how we're going to receive food that we get, you know, from your bulk. You know, so really simple things like seal holes, cracks, and crevices where pests might breed. Pretty straightforward. Keeping chemicals away from your food. I mean, you know, it's like common sense, quite a lot, right? And cold storage. All right, we'll get through to the bit where I'm sorry if it's making your eyes go funny. Just look away. I'm trying to get to the part where it shows you your plan of your kitchen. So there's an example of a label as well, and ensuring labels comply with national and state labeling legislations, which you can see, fat and seedy bread, obviously that's old. Yeah. Sorry, I should have opened it right on the page, shouldn't I? Anyway, there's a part in here where it talks about your plan for your kitchen and how big that's going to be. So how to wipe down your surfaces, how to wash your hands after you've been to the toilet. You know, stuff you didn't know until I've told you now. Waste management, food recall, our food recall plan. It's only ever happened twice. It was no big deal. It sounds dreadful, but we've got it all covered. Things like batch records. What's this? Yeah, that's still recall. So can you imagine how excited your environmental health officer would be to see this? I'm just going to make it a bit smaller so I can get through it quicker. So look at it. It's just huge. It goes on and on and on. More flow charts, how to decide to do a recall. And then this is a bit more interesting, the process of each item. Okay, so what is it? How do we make it? What's in it? You know, they'll be asking for all of the ingredients. How long are you going to cook it for? So basically, cooking something at 160 degrees in an oven kills everything. It tells it who it's ready to eat by, that it's been delivered in cellophane packaging that's sealed. It has to be sealed with a tape and neck bag sealer, and it's labeled, and all of those things on there that they're looking for. And that goes through all of the different products and the training that you get. And this is really interesting for you to have a read through as well, of how, and you know, keeping your records, you know, all of the templates are here. And this is the Stockist agreement, which is also a really awesome tool to make sure that you're going to get paid by the shops that you stock. And we've added this in the agreement so that we can show council that we're telling our stockists how to store our products correctly. So that's in there as well. And then we've got some temperature monitoring to check your fridge is at the right temperature if your council require that. And where's the bit where we've got a plan of your kitchen? So some people get a bit worried about doing a plan for the kitchen, but you know, oh, I'm renting and I can't get the plans from my landlord. Well, that's okay, because you can just draw them yourself, which is good. So these are all so we've sent all of our products to the lab. All the tests have come back. It's a bit like when you go for blood tests at the doctor and they give you all these numbers and you go, what does that mean? Then you have to get a lab technician to analyze it all. And then, yes, he's saying here that all the products are low risk and not potentially hazardous, which is great. But somewhere in amongst all of that, it does have a plan for you of how to, and you'll get this. You'll be able to, like, I'm not just going to whiz through it, right? You'll get this when you become a Primalista. So you can, you know, copy the information. that's on the on here to get your plan for the kitchen all sorted. Right, that was hard to say, but I got it out in the end. All right, next share is going to be into Google. So what we're going to do now is have a look at somebody's council. So I know that in the group, I heard from Christina and Michaela and Kelly which council they're in. So are they on the call today? Or I tell you what, just in the chat, let me know. Thank you, Claudia. Let me know who's your council, and let's look them up. Oh, West Hammer, thank you. West Hammer. Oh, a council. Food business registration, home-based. There. Google already knows what I'm looking for. So this is going to be your homework. So you can pull up did that by itself. You can pull up your favorite browser and enter your council name, and home-based food business registration will probably bring up the easiest one. All right. So then you need to be a bit of a detective and try and work out which one is going to be the best. So I think this one's going to be the best. We'll have a look. Okay. Because there's a certain thing that we are looking for. Oh, you get to do the easy. I'm alert. That's cool. Food business registration. For all application types, please complete the food business application form and return it to council. Once assessed, you'll be advised of the application fee, usually around $500. All right, so I think the best place to go is here. Can you still see this page loading? I think you should. Okay. Whew. All right. So it's help with questions like this that can be a little bit confusing. And that's all pretty straightforward there. And then you'd be ticking the things you'd be doing: cooking, packaging. You're a food manufacturer, which people are like, oh, that sounds like it's a factory, but that's what you are. So this is all more for a mobile food business. All right, well, this all looks pretty straightforward. Food business layout, mobile food business. Okay. Looks like pretty straightforward for your council. All right. Let's have a look. I didn't find what I was wanting to find, so I'm going to go back and choose a different council from the chat. North Sydney. We've done yours, Sally, the other day. We could do that one again. North. Sally has had a Primalista call, and we did it because Sally had a call with me and then sent me some information off her. Like, this is one I've looked at before. Sent me some information from her website. Oh my goodness, this looks horrific. What is this? So I went and had a look as well. And it all, when you've seen something once, you know what you're looking for. When you don't know what you're looking for, you're like, oh, what is this? This is so overwhelming and confusing, and I don't even want to go forward with this. Just remember, with your food business registration, you do it once. Do it once, and then you've got it. And then it's an annual renewal every year. They come out, they check out. Well, I've only, in all the years I've had one, they only came out once. Probably lived too far away. So we've got here, this is what I'm looking for. High risk food stalls. You can't do that from home. And it was a real blow for me when I started, because I wanted to do nut milks and I wanted to do fresh cooked meals for people, and I couldn't do it because you can only do low risk items from home. So the things that we fall into are, you might think it's the breads, it can be the breads, but also this is where we are. Plain cakes, biscuits, and crackers. That's us. Because our breads are actually more like a cake. than bread. But this, in some places you can't do bread from home, but this one has got bread in. So we can do that. You spoke to new food standards. And what did they say? So this is an interesting one for any other New South Wales potential primalistas. Until July 2018, for most councils in New South Wales, all you had to do was to notify a New South Wales food standards that you were going to have a food business from home. That was it. That was it. And then they started to change it, and they gave that to local councils, and then it started to be more application based. What I've seen over the last 8 years of having a home-based food business is that councils are moving more towards allowing home-based food businesses. Some people think, oh, they don't, they're trying to get this, trying to squeeze out the small guys. They're not. They're actually making it easier. Victoria is the flagship state. Like that all other, I don't know this from being mates with so many EHOs now, but it's the flag that all the other states want to be like Victoria. And Victoria are moving now. They're changing the classes in their businesses to make it easier for people to have businesses from home. What is getting tighter is labeling, because consumers are having more and more dietary issues and allergens. Does that make sense? All right. Let's have a look at Norwood and St. Peter's. Is that one council or two? Is it Norwood and St. Peter's? Is that the name of your council? Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading stuff in the chat. Food business notification. See, it's a notification. It's not like, can I do this? You're like, you're telling them this is what I want to do. Just come and make sure that it's okay in my area. Eastern Health Authority. So this is homework, right? Get yourself a nice glass of fizzy water or a glass of wine or coffee, or whatever you're into, whatever time it is in your time zone. It's early for wine, too late for coffee. Yeah, and just give yourself the space and the time to just go through this, because it's something that you're going to have to do. And it's good to check it out before you become a Primalista. Don't start the application, because I think you're going to be in a much better place once you've got the covering letter, which basically explains what you're going to do in the food safety program. Okay, so basically what we're looking for, no fee, nice. Food business is any business or activity that sells food. This includes business, charitable. Yep, okay, all looks pretty straightforward. So you would go onto this form. So we're in South Australia. Cool, getting around today, aren't we? New South Wales, Tassie. Now we're in South Australia. See what this says, and then we will. Okay, so you have to download. Oh, all right. Blah blah blah. So that's quite straightforward. Fill in your details. Is that it? Oh, wow! This is the easiest cancel ever. Okay, here we go. This is the same thing, and the reason I'm going through this, right, is because I want you to be familiar, so that when you look on your council website, you think, I know what I'm looking for. Okay, where have we got? So business, so ABN, you'll have an ABN when you start as a Primalista. I even give you a link of which one to click, because it's free. If you've already got an ABN, you can use that. So then, so you would be street address. That would be you, that one. You haven't got any employees. You don't want any employees. You don't want staffing issues. So you're going to be in the manufacturing sector, I think. Retail and food. It's confusing, isn't it? Here we are, the familiar stuff. Low risk food that is unlikely to contain pathogenic microorganisms and will not normally support their growth due to food characteristics. Examples are grains and cereals, bread, carbonated beverages, sugar-based confectionery, alcohol, fats and oils. Interesting. Normally it says cakes in there. So you're none of those things, which is good because they're all high risk. So you would be here, which is low risk. And there are eggs in our products. So some councils want to be a little bit more cautious because there are eggs in there, but their eggs are baked and cooked. So so that you'd be yes. Do all foods manufactured? Yes. Did have a pathogen reduction step. Remember we saw that on the food business plan, food safety program. Does your business manufacture uncooked fermented? No, because that's high risk. Okay. All right. Tick only one box that represents the predominant description of the business. You're a bakery. And you know what? So this is good. Yours is cool. Oh, home based. Yeah. So you're nothing in there, nothing high risk. All right. Are you getting the feeling? Does your business only sell low risk food, packaged and unpackaged, or medium risk food received and sold? No, it's a bit different. But if you get stuck on any of these questions, they can be really like, you can always just reach out, right, into the group and we'll help you with those questions. All right. So let me stop that share. Sorry that if that was a little bit heavy, but it's important to just kind of go through that, I reckon. So what are we going to look at now? Let's look at back to the prezzo. I love that. That's an Australian word, isn't it, for presentation? Let's go to the prezzo, mate. Let's look at customers, right? We've got your council approval now. It's amazing. You've got your ABN, you've got your council approval, you've got your insurance, all of that. Open for business. Stress is done. Now, as part of the Primalista mentor program that I would love you to be on, we're starting that on September the 14th, 3 weeks today. And the first module is getting open for business. So not only are you going to have access to all these resources and the amazing Primalista community and my one-on-one support, but you're also going to be guided in like a separate little bubble of yumminess with new Primalistas who are all going through the process together. So you'll be able to celebrate each other getting approved. You'll be able to help each other out with questions. Say, what the heck am I? Which box do I tick? All of that, you'll be guided. You won't be just left on your own. So now you are thinking about, okay, well, I'm ready now. I'm open for business. I'm ready to go and get some customers. So Primal Alternative does really well at places like farmers markets, IGAs, health food shops, cafes, online, Facebook, Instagram, buy, swap and sell groups, Facebook Marketplace, and also obviously to your friends and family networks. So who would you love as your customers? I want you to be able to think of at least 3 to 5 places that you can approach, okay? And what I want you to do is chuck them in the chat group. Do it now. Let's see. We can check them. On the Stockist page, we also have, and this is what the TSS is. We'll check the TSS on the call. So remember, the next step is always to book a Primalista call because we will go through all of this in more detail one-on-one with you, right? But what you can do is go and have a look at our Stockist page. So quite a lot of people think, oh, there's a Primalista 100 kilometers away from me. Oh, well, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. And if I do come on board, can you guarantee that no other Primalistas are going to come into my territory at all? Right. So as I mentioned yesterday in the info session, there's no territory with Primal Alternative. We expand through collaboration, through sisterhood, no competition. We all charge the same price. Nobody wants to step on anyone's toes. And it's really easy to do that through the simple way of communication, which as women are so good at doing. So let's just have a quick look. Where are we? Here. That's where I want to go. All right, I'm jumping around here, but here we are. So we're going to go to, here, this is where we're going to go first. Okay, so we are on the Primal Alternative Stockist page. So you can just go to primalalternative.com/stockists. So somebody shout out a town in the chat that you are. Give me a town, any Neutral Bay. Thank you, Sally. Neutral Bay. So this is what we do on the call as well. We'll have a look at where you are. And then we're just going to zoom on in. All right. I've been here before. Okay, so these dots here are where Primal Alternative is stocked. So we can see that the nearest stockist to Neutral Bay is a Primalista who isn't up and running as yet. And another Primalista who isn't up and running as yet. And then we've got Flour Mill Markets in Summer Hill, which is 10 k's down the road. Zoom in a bit more. But we can see there's a little bit of representation here, but not much up here. And there's a big river going through here. So I guess around this area, we'd probably be looking, yeah, Ashley Burge. As I say, she's not up and running as yet. So there's this big kind of gap. Like for me, I'm just thinking, wow, look at all this untapped potential around. Sorry, I'm trying to do it. Oh, I've gone over there. You see stupid Google Maps. But you see what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of potential around that area. Okay. We also have got, this is our internal document. So I know in the initial part of this session, we talked about, do I need to be really high tech? And the answer is no. And so this would probably be the most technical thing you need to be able to do. So this is our target stockist spreadsheet. I'm just going to reload it because it's a bit blurry. So on the stockist page, those are stockists, customers who said, yes, we're there, we're supplying them, okay? And this is our internal document. So this is just a Google Doc. You can see there's somebody in here as well as me, which is exciting. Who is it? Who is it? And all you do is you would go in. So they get quite big and then we have to update them. You would just put in here, the date and where you went and where that was and your name. So on the call, say if you're in the same region as, say you've got a nearby Primalista to where you are, we can just, I can just sort that on. So say you are near Ali, which you are, we can say, okay, well, she's been to these places and what have they said? Yes, they're a stockist. No, yes. And the way that this works is that a Primalista has got a 3-week exclusivity window to get that stockist on board. Unless, there's something else starting in October. Okay, cool. So no one's obviously going to go and approach them or follow up then, but sometimes what happens is people like Geeta might have initially thrown her net quite wide. And then now she's on a baking break. So she's not going to follow up anybody else. So does that mean that somebody that's been approached in 2019 that we're still waiting to follow up on, somebody else needs to approach that potential stockist, right? And people buy from people. And I've had it happen in my very own hometown. And I'm the founder of Primal Alternative. I tried to get into our IGA Express for 2 years. And they were saying, no. And then a new Primalista started and they said yes to her. Must have been all that groundwork that I laid. But you get the point, right? So 3 weeks. And what the sort of normal etiquette would be that you would go and approach Geeta and say, I'm thinking of approaching this stockist. Is that cool with you? That's kind of the way the etiquette goes. So let me show you if this is going to wake up. Wake up. There we go. So this is it. The technology that you need, the resources page. There's a tour there with me where I show you where to find everything. But this is pretty much it. There's another page with the recipes on. That's just basically got little buttons like this to click on the recipe or to click and watch a video. It's just like an accordion. So it just jumps out. Yeah. And those are the things that we've got in there. So say, for example, you had decided, right, I want to go out and get some stockists now. What I don't want you to do is to read all this when you join, because you'd be like, oh. So when you join, You'll be going into the resource bank and you'll be getting food business registration checklist, environmental health officer application letter, food safety plan. If you have to do a development application, there's an example. There's an example of a form, so you can get an idea of which questions, which boxes to tick. And if you're doing a New South Wales Food Authority notification, there's an example, one of those in there. So lots to like look at and familiarize yourself, so it's not too completely crazy. But now you've got your food business rego, right? And you decided, I want to learn some sales marketing. Okay, so you would click on this button and you click on here to get to the Primalista sales training page, and you'll see when it loads really slow when it zooms on, sorry. When you're on there, you'll see lots of different videos to watch, scripts to take with you when you go to a stockist, because it's all very well watching videos going, oh yeah, and then you get in there and you go, what am I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say. But there's like, it's just a couple of prompts. Like, do you have customers asking for vegan, low carb, plant-based, grain-free, gluten-free breads, etc.? Yes, of course they do. Oh, we don't want to pop up. Thank you very much. Oh, go away. Who puts these pop-ups? They're so annoying. Oh, I'm not logged in. Okay, sorry, I went through. But normally you would see, this is live, right? Normally you would see all of that pop up there. Let me give you a better example. So basically you would just click on and it would expand and it will give you the information that you're looking for. I think that's enough on that, because that's just taking way too long to load and it's making me crazy. So we'll stop that share and then we'll come back into here. All right. Jumping around all over the place, aren't we today? Are you keeping up? I hope so. All right. So some of the benefits of having another Primalista nearby are that you can meet up with a real life Primalista, go for a coffee, chat business with somebody who actually gets it, you know? And that's what I love about the Primalista community. I can say to people, oh my goodness, guess what? We got this stockist on and Ash has been trying to get that on for ages and we've got him on. And the family's like, oh, that's great, babe. What's for dinner? You know, so it's nice to be able to have someone that you can hang with who gets it, who can really celebrate with you, and someone you can have a whinge to, you know, if things haven't gone very well, or stockist, you know, you need to chase them to pay or something like that. So that's always really nice. I've talked about this a lot, but we are very collaborative. It's very non-competitive. And if anybody does get a little bit competitive or a little bit like non-fair and equitable and sharing, everybody's very quickly to correct, you know, like, no, we don't do it like that around here. We share things out. It's all very nice, which is lovely. So the key point here is that it's not saturated. There's so much capacity for so many more Primalistas, which is really awesome. Now, so just as a reminder, when you're working through the virtual open week, I really want you to book in for your Primalista call if you haven't had one yet. Because we'll be focusing on you. We'll be going through, okay, your why, how much you want to earn, how much time you've got, where you're going to fit that in. We'll be looking at your stockist viability in your area and answering any of the specific unique questions you've got. And on the call, I shared yesterday how you can save $500 on your Primalista license when you pay upfront. You save $500. But on the call, we'll share how you can save an extra $1,000. So it's worth calling just for that. And I want you to do this before September the 14th, if this is something you're serious about and it's really resonating with you, because I would love you to be part of the first ever Primalista Mentor program, which we reckon is worth about $4,000 as an addition. So currently what's on offer is the value of that and all the bonuses that I went through yesterday, including the baking starter kit and the digital bonuses, is $14,000. Like, it's a really good time to get into it. So a little bit more in depth with who this is for. So if you love healthy baking, you want to help others, you're looking for self-development, tick, tick, tick. That's the kind of people that we're looking for. If you've had your own health journey where you've had to eliminate certain foods, even better, because you understand our customers' journey and you can empathize with what they're looking for. And that just makes it so much easier for you to sell to them, because you understand their journey and their needs and what they're looking for. And if you've got no sales training in the past, your lack of confidence, no issues, like text, stressful, then it's no problem, because we'll teach you all of that. And the key thing with this is that the clarity and the confidence come in the creation. Like, you'll get that as you go. You'll get that confidence. At first you'll be like, oh, I'm out of my depth. What am I doing? And then as people give you the feedback on how you're helping them and how the bread's amazing and how much you love it, it will all come. Okay. So this isn't for you if you are, and there are some people that come onto the call that think that we're going to just give them a list of orders to bake for every week. It doesn't work like that. You need to go out and get your own customers, and not willing to do the work. Like, you buy the license, that's great. And there is a small percentage. We looked at a couple then on the Primalistas that are near to Sally that have started, they've joined, but they haven't started. And that's fine, because there's no prizes for being up and running really quickly. But if you buy this license, but then don't actually go and start the business, this isn't going to work for you. And as I mentioned yesterday, we do that percentage is really, really small. And we do as much as we can to support you to get started and to set out with that, towards that vision that you set out on day one. And from a more sort of serious point of view, it is manual labor, right? Being on your feet in the kitchen, lifting heavy jugs of fruit toast is the heaviest one. It's like a brick. So, quite a lot of people here are on a health journey. Maybe you've got joint issues, back issues. So really start to think, consider that. Can you be on your feet for 4 to 5 hours at a time? Or are you going to need to space it out a little bit more? Definitely consider that. All right. So the homework for today is to try the grain-free herb bread recipe. Now, hopefully you've all been able to find that okay. Let me know if you have struggled to find that. But if it's in the Facebook group, it's gone out in the email this morning. And if you still like, where is it? I can't find it. If you just put into your search bar, Primal Alternative Grain-Free Herb Bread Recipe, it will come up. So try it out. I'd love to see your pictures of it. So put your pictures in the Facebook group. And it's my favorite day. I love seeing your baking. And you'll find the recipe really easy, right? The recipes are really just measure, mix, and bake. And the next bit of your homework, today's a big day, because I want you to start to really look into this and make sure you feel comfortable that it's doable for you. So the second one will be to search your council website like we did in that very arduous part of the session where we were jumping around on the website. Typing into the search bar engine, for me, it would be Albany City Council home-based food business registration, and see what's on there. What you're looking for is that they're talking about home food business. You're not going to get a yes, of course, you'll be easy to do this. What you're looking for is that they will approve low risk or not potentially hazardous food businesses, that they're saying things like cakes without cream, biscuits, like the hard things that are highlighted before. That's what we're looking for. I just want you to see that, oh yeah, no, my council will approve this, so long as you've got a good application and can answer all their questions with the food safety program, and that your house isn't a cesspit. Because at the end of the day, if you've got rats climbing the wall and paint falling from the ceiling and, pet rats all over your bench, I'm just trying to paint the worst case, that's not going to pass. Okay. But I'm pretty sure that you will keep a nice clean house and you wash your hands and stuff, so you'll be fine. So, but if you feel nervous, and I was really pleased to see somebody in our virtual open week shared a picture of their kitchen. They're in a rental. They've got just a straightforward standalone, one of those white 600 ovens, right? That's all you need. And space-wise, you're going to need like 1.2 meters of bench space, because all you're going to do is have your bulk ingredients here, and you're just putting the ingredients into your mixer. And then you're putting it into the tins, and then it's going into the oven. And then you can be cooling things over on a dining room table or a different bench top over there. So really think small. Don't think, oh, commercial kitchen, because you don't need to do that. Now, here is another idea. We're getting more into the sales and marketing side of things now. So I want you to think of 3 to 5 customer potentials, and nobody shared theirs. I'm keeping those close to my chest right now. We'll go through them on the call anyway. You'll need to have a call. But write 3 to 5 down and you'll be surprised, right? Because remember, back to day one, your quality of your life is based on your standard of life or whatever it is based on the quality of the questions that you ask yourself. Anthony Robbins quote, brilliant. It really gets me thinking when I start asking silly questions like, why do people leave mess around in this house? Why can people never remember to do this and this, like stupid questions, because your brain will, whatever you ask your brain, it will just go and keep thinking of answers for you, because it's just such an amazing tool. So let's start asking quality questions like, where could I sell my primal alternative products? Where would be a brilliant shop, a brilliant market, a brilliant customer? Who can I be of service to? Who can I help with these products? And your brain will just go, here's a million places that you didn't even think about. And you'll be walking down the street. Once you put it out there, you'll be walking down the street and you'll think, oh, I never realized that there was a veggie box place here. That would be a brilliant place to get my breads into. So start to keep a note of things as they keep coming in. Put them down in your phone or in your diary. And then when you become a Primalista, that will give you, maybe 5 to 7 places to go ahead and approach. Now, remember, if you've seen Shah's clip from yesterday, she only had 2 stockists and they kept her plenty busy. So you'll probably cast your net quite wide, get a couple of cranking stockists, and you'll be fine. Now, if you want to go to the next level, you can test the market for real. You have my full, it's not approval, like my full, can't think of the word. Let me know if you can think of the word. Do it. You have my full do it to post on your Facebook page or your Instagram page, and just post a couple of pictures of the products. Go onto the website, screenshot them, save them, and say, hey, I'm thinking about producing products like this. Would you be interested in trying them? Simple as that. Don't get into the nitty gritty of, well, how much, if they say, how much is it? You can say, we'll reveal more soon or something like that. If you don't get into the nitty gritty of, well, how many carbs has it got? And what's the nip and what's the wholesale to retail and all of that, because that's all part of the training. You're not expected to know all of that yet, but you just want to essentially reassure yourself that there are people out there that will actually buy this from you. I mean, because they have done for years. Obviously, it's not going to be for everybody, and that's fine too, because we are very niche and we're not here to transform people's point of view. We're not here to stand at the, white bread shelf at Coles and say, oh, you shouldn't be eating that bread. Oh, no. We're not here to do that. We're right. Thank goodness. We're not here to transform people's point of view and the way people are, because that's just too much of a job. We're here for the people who are already onto this. They've already red pilled on the food industry and had their own health crisis, and they know that they just don't do that great with grains and gluten, and they're looking for healthy, cleaner alternatives. We're here for those people. That's a growing group of people who are interested in their health now, care about their health even more now, and it's definitely a growing market. So do that, and I want to know what the feedback is, because usually we get quite a lot of normally we get quite a lot of amazing comments. Oh my goodness, when can I buy them? So cool. So another thing you could do if you wanted to, oh look, I've got a whole slide on this. You can also pop into shops pop into the places that feel easiest, right? So maybe like if you shop at a health food shop or you go to a cafe, you could say, look, I really like coming here for eggs benny, and your gluten-free bread's really nice, but you know what, I'd love to have a grain-free bread. Do you have a grain-free? Because you know the difference between gluten and grain-free, right? So just as a quick recap, don't compare grain-free and gluten-free. Gluten-free is usually full of a lot of cheap starches, and grain-free is not. So grain-free is made of nuts and vegetables and eggs. And there might be a little bit of tapioca starch in there, but it's not like just your rice and your soy flour and all of that is in a lot of gluten-free stuff. Gluten-free products as well can also be full of things like additives, canola oil, soy, stuff that we want to be avoiding. Okay, so very different, and very different reflection in the price point, because nuts and eggs and vegetables are much more expensive than rice flour and soy, right? So so pop into the shops and get some pictures up on your phone, and maybe some brownies or something. Say, hey, I'm thinking about making these. Do you think that you would want to give them a go? Do you think there'd be an interest in these things in our area? And test the market for real. They don't have to commit to an order. Would you be interested? Yeah. Okay, so we are wrapping up. Oh, look at that. I did it in an hour. Killing it. So day 4, tomorrow, my favorite day, the Primalista panel. Oh, no more listening to H banging on for an hour and a half. Goodness me. Sick of that woman's weird voice. Where's that accent from anyway? So tomorrow I'm going to be joined by Primalista Rosie from Western Australia. She's been a Primalista for it's just a 6th year nearly. And Primalista Amanda, she's new in Queensland, and Primalista Ash from Queensland, she's in year 2. So I want to know, what are your questions? What do you want to ask real life Primalistas? Thank you, Sally. And if you have got any questions on what we've covered today, do you feel confident now that you could get onto your council website and find the information that you're looking for? Do you feel comfortable and confident that you could pull together an application, seeing the resources that we've got available? Imagine if you had to do that from scratch yourself. I mean, we did it. It's possible, but it's just so much easier with all of that there. So much easier. But do you have any questions on any of that? Do you want to know anything more about, oh, I know, I remembered something I was going to show you. Hang on, let's go out of there. That's what I was going to show you, before, and I lost what I was going to share with you. Here it is. All right. So I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. So, okay, can you see it? So this is never seen before, because I just got this through from my graphics team last night, and there are some errors on it, so it's not finished. This is our Stockist brochure. So the reason I'm showing you this is because you will be going into Stockists armed with this. So we've got the barcodes, we've got the nutrition panels, we've got the wholesale price, we've got the retail price, we've got the shelf life, we know what's in it, we know that's its blurb, and you'll be like, which one's which again? But it sells itself, it's got a blurb that goes along with it. It's got lovely pictures. Has anyone spotted any mistakes yet? Okay, we need a picture there. There's something so funny. I did laugh. So we've had to take out the nut-free, dairy-free. We can't say that anymore because we'd have to have a higher class of kitchen, which we don't want. So I said, let's move away from vegan, because vegan is vegan. The vegan phrase is kind of where paleo was a couple of years ago. Paleo was like really cool, and then it wasn't cool. But now everybody knows what paleo means. So we just say that, and we can't say grain-free. It's so confusing. You don't have to deal with any of this. So this is like what goes on in my head. And then I put all this together and you just can bake. Yay, doing what you love to do. Plant friendly. It did make me absolutely lol for real life. It's meant to be plant-based, but my lovely my lovely Ro in my graphics team put plant friendly by mistake, and it really had me laughing. It's probably, I think that's probably just a reaction to going through the bloody labels too often. I've got a bit hysterical about it all now. So I just wanted to just go through this again, just in case you didn't see it yesterday. But there's two ways to pay. There's $1,000 joining fee, and then you can either pay up front, 5,500, or on a payment plan of 620. These are the bonuses. The thing that I love the most of the bonuses is the baking starter kit, where you get 220 personalized labels, your Primalista apron with your name and state on there. They're so cool. Such an exciting. You get a little note, right? A little note, personal note that goes. And we've also got now pins that go out to Primalistas to acknowledge and the milestone and to celebrate their first year, third year, and fifth year Primiversaries. So you get to put a few pins in your apron as you go along the way, which is really cool. 6 primal alternative bread tins, a one-on-one coaching session to have with me whenever you like, and 200 compostable cellophane bags. Now, the other bonuses are amazing. Some health coaching courses, as well as my business blueprint, which is a really awesome 18-page downloadable PDF. So you take your business on a date, you get yourself a nice cup of tea, you sit in the sunshine, you move around a bit, you get rid of all of that like crazy stuff that's going on, and you think, right, how do I want this business to look? And Aligning for Success, which is a tapping course. Anyone into tapping? That when you get the doubts and fears that come up, oh, I really want to start a business, but I've got to put the washing on. It's just to help you move through that. And in my business blueprint, there's a lot in there around scheduling and making time for your business, because, you know, if you just give your business the crappy, you're not going to, because you're here. This is a priority for you. You know, you're living to your highest priorities. But there's, you know, 65 people have registered for the virtual open week. Not everyone's going to get to see the videos because it's not really high priority. And if you don't schedule in high priority activities, guess what happens? Your day fills with low priority activities, and then you just end up pissed off. And at the end of the day, you feel resentful and start snapping at everyone. Whereas when you live by priority, like you do, you feel fulfilled. How good's that? The PMP, I'm so excited. So excited. It's the first one ever. You got to be in by the 14th of September. It's a 6-week program with 3 practical lessons, open for business, which is like getting your ABN, doing your council, doing your insurance, taking your picture of yourself in your apron and sending it to Kath so we can celebrate you as open for business on social media. Such a cool day. As well as getting equipped. So getting really clear on what equipment you need and what you don't, so you can have a lean startup and start earning money in your business. And the third module is called Getting Sales. So, you know, getting you out there, getting those orders. So exciting. Applying for that farmer's market, posting on social media and how to do it, all of it. And you're going to be guided with me. It's a closed little mini micro group. So there's not like going to be Primalistas who've been doing it for 6 years and you think, oh, I've got stupid questions to ask, or they don't have time to reply to me. You're going to be supported by me and Manda and Rosie and Geeta and Ash. And I'm going to throw the doors open as well to other Primalistas if they want to come in mentor, because there's quite a few aunties in the group, you know, who are just like super, super helpful. That was just like, you come here and I will help you out, which is nice. So yeah, definitely get on board before September the 14th. I don't want you to miss that. Remember the action I want you to take. The next step is to book your Primalista call now. Head to this link, primalalternative.com/call. And on the call, we'll show you how you can save another $1,000 on your Primalista license. So hopefully now the value that you're seeing is really, you think, wow, this is really good value for money. I hope. I really do hope. If not, let me know and I'll see if I can do a better job. And the cost, look, in terms of getting out and starting a business, is really low. And with that baking starter kit, your startup costs are even lower. So, you know, you can be out. You've seen what the other Primalistas are doing in sales a month, working part-time. You know, I went to bed last night. I was asking myself, what were my magical moments of the day? I thought it was a really cool moment, you know, celebrating that Primalistas working part-time can earn more than bloke tradies working full-time. Yeah, go, girl power. So I'm going to pick a prize winner again today. I should have told you that at the beginning, but I didn't. So sorry about that. So the lucky winner of the prize today is Michaela. Yay, Michaela. Congratulations. You are my yummy prize winner. Yeah, I should have told you that. And might have made it a bit easier to sit through the council stuff. Look, I hate details. Ugh, council. Ugh. And I'll tell you a secret. When I first started, I didn't even know that you needed a food business registration. So I did this illegally for a year until I did a big market, Denmark Arts Market. It's a big market. And the Denmark environmental health officer came and said, oh, have you got a food business registration? What? What's one of them? And so I went through the planning department and I got approved. And I just got the pay. I got, you know, they send you a letter and I was like, approved, right? But it was like a letter like that. I was like, oh, it says approved, good. And I chucked it in the drawer. And then like 6 months later, the Albany, which is my jurisdiction, environmental health officer rang me and said, oh, we found some fat and seedy bread in the health nut in Albany. And it says you producing it, but we don't have you down as a registered food business. So what are you going to do about it? And I had to check my pants and it was all right. And you know, it's so funny because I was doing that for 18 months. Did I end up in jail? No. Did I get fined? No. And I just said, I'm really sorry, but I thought I was approved. I had this letter. It said approved. And they said, yeah, that's your planning approval. Can you turn the page on that letter and just look at clause 7.1 AB 57673? You know what council's like. And it says there, now you have to lodge a thing with the health department. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I did it. And, you know, 8 years later, still got my approved kitchen. So don't be scared of council. They're here to help us. They're here to protect us. And with a good application, a good attitude, you will smash it. So Michaela, please send me an email with your address and your phone number, and we will get a yummy prize off in the post to you. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It's been an absolute joy to spend another day with you. And don't miss tomorrow. It's going to be gold. Don't be shy with your questions. If you don't want to ask them live tomorrow, send me an email, info@primalalternative.com. Ask them in the Facebook group, but don't hold back. Like, this is what, you know, I know that Sally is really keen. We've had a chat. She's looked at council. She's having a chat to Geeta today, right? So it's normal to want to talk to someone who's on the other side, who's doing it, who's not giving it all their bells and whistles, woo, 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 right? So get the questions into me and we can make sure that we get them asked. Thank you so much for being here. See you later, everyone. Bye.